How you doing, North Carolina? Oh, we're gonna win this thing in 3 days. Are we gonna win this thing? All right, let me ask you a question. We gotta do a poll. How many people have already voted versus how many people? All right, how many people have voted already? How many people still have to vote? Wow, there's a lot of people who have voted already. I'm impressed, North Carolina. I'm impressed. Very good. Very good. Are you guys gonna vote before Election Day or on Election Day? On Election Day. No voting before Election Day, right? I had to vote before Election Day because I want to work on Election Day. Does that make sense? Do you approve of that? All right, that's what I'm going to do. Guys, we're going to win this thing. I promise you, I swear to you with every ounce of my energy, we are going to win this thing. We are going to make America great. We are going to keep this country great. Guys, we have to. We have to. And by the way, I say this all the time. I especially have to. We especially have to win North Carolina. You know why? More importantly, even though there's nothing more important than my wife, my daughter's named Carolina. So if we don't freaking win North Carolina, I'm in big trouble, right? I'll have to rename my daughter. We'll have to name her, I'll name her Sam, or I'll name her something. We'll figure out another name, right? Well, you'll have to come up with a name. We have to win North Carolina. But we're gonna win North Carolina, so this is all irrelevant anyway. I promise you guys. I promise you. Do it for Laura. Does anybody like Wrightsville Beach? You know, we spend every holiday there. It's like the greatest place in the world. We absolutely love it. That's right. Good job. Somebody's been studying up on my wife. I like it, you know? I'm not going to ask any more questions here, but somebody's studying up on my wife. So, well, guys, listen, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here. It's hard to believe it's 3 days left. I mean, I want to read you a little thing in a second, but we as a family did 55 stops. 55 stops in 48 hours. That's how hard we're working. And Joe Biden won't come out of his basement. Have you ever seen anything like it? Literally, is there anybody who called a lid on it on Monday morning at 8 o'clock and didn't come out of their basement until Thursday afternoon? Raise your hand. Is this the performance we want from our Commander-in-Chief? Is that the energy you want from the person that's going to lead the greatest nation in the world? It's unbelievable. So yeah, as a family, guys, we did 55 stops in 48 hours in every single state in the country, crisscrossing the nation. When my father is in North Carolina, I'm in Michigan. When he's in Michigan, I'm in Arizona or Nevada, and Laura will be here, or Don will be here, or Ivanka will be here. And guys, that's how we're working. We're working because we love this country. We love everything that this nation stands for. And you know, guys, when you look at 2016 and what my father was running against, he was running against pure incompetence, right? And that's what they were. It was incompetence. They had bad economy. They were giving $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America. You know, slowest growth's coming out of a recession in the history of our nation. Guys, look at what the Democratic Party, and it's not even the Democratic Party, it's the far left party. Look at what they stand for today, guys. Look at what they stand for today. Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, that's a good way to summarize it. Honestly, I could end my speech right there. Hate and division, just call it. But honestly, they want to take away your First Amendment right. We know this. I mean, they banned Kayleigh McEnany. Does anybody like Kayleigh out there? Think about the fact that they banned the, United States of America, the press secretary for the President of the United States of America. They banned her from Twitter. Think about that. And every single day, I'll give you a little secret. So we sign up for all Biden's emails, right? No different than he signs up for all of ours, but we make fake accounts and we want to know what he's sending and he wants to know what we're sending, right? So we make fake accounts. So when a Biden email gets sent to the account and when a Trump email gets sent to an account, right? It's like an AOL account or a Gmail account. There's a little unsubscribe button that comes up under the Trump emails. But guess what doesn't show up under the Biden emails? The unsubscribe bar, right? They do this every single day. They've blocked Kayleigh. They've thrown my brother off of Twitter. He deserves to be thrown off of Twitter, unlike Kayleigh, but he really does. When he got tossed off of Twitter, I literally started laughing. I go, honestly, you deserved it. With Kayleigh, I'll defend Kayleigh. I'm not going to defend you, Don, They'll censor my father. My father's a president of the United States, and they have the arrow, the little exclamation point under that, censoring the president of the United States. And guys, how many of you have been censored? How many of you have been kicked off these platforms? Every single one of us. Twice this week. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You're hitting it hard. That's pretty good. Twice this week. But guys, how many times have you posted something And you know the engagements just aren't what they usually are because they turn down the dials. They do it to all of us. Big tech absolutely has their fingers on the scales of this election. There's no question. So they want to take away your First Amendment right. They want to take away faith in America, and we're not going to let that happen. Every single day they attack religion in this country. They attack faith, and I can't figure it out. Democratic National Convention, they take out the words, under God and the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, well, it's true. They're communists are pretty damn close. I'd say you're 100% right. But why are they attacking faith in this country? You know, they'll open up liquor stores, but they'll keep churches closed. I haven't quite figured that out. They want to take out, in God we trust, they want to take that off the U.S. currency. Why does the three-letter word offend them so much? Why are they attacking faith? In fact, you see this far-left party now, and they actually brag about how they're the party of the atheist. Have you heard this? They literally go around, we're the party of the atheist, and I mean, think about taking out under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's what they want to do. They want to take away faith. They want to attack the nuclear family. They want to obviously hamper our free speech because they're doing it every single day. They want to raise your taxes by $4 trillion. So they want to reverse my father's tax cuts, right, which saved the average family $2,500 and decrease small business tax by 21%. They want to take away his tax cuts. They want socialism. They want socialized health care, right? They want to take away 180 million private health care plans. That was our friend Kamala Harris. We want to take away 180 million private health care plans. They want to ban oil and gas. Does anybody like the gas prices at the pump right now? Think about it. And everybody remembers this year. We're all old enough to remember this, but under Obama and Biden, you have $5 gas at the pumps. Remember how bad it was? I remember I had a Dodge Durango. This thing was like a 2009 Dodge Durango. It had a V8 in it. Every single time you filled up your tank, it cost you like $130. It was crazy. It was crazy. This was in college. I didn't have any money. It cost you like a fortune to fill up your tank. And look at the prices now, $1.80, $1.90. It's because we're energy independent for the first time. We're actually exporting energy. So they want to ban oil and gas. They want to attack law enforcement, the greatest people that we have in this country. And to all the officers I saw coming in here, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We truly do. What they've tried to do to law enforcement in this country, what they're doing, I mean, you saw what they did in Minneapolis, where the city council literally voted. You saw this, right? They voted to, quote unquote, abolish law enforcement. And then guess what? Crime went through the roof. And they went back to them begging, can you please come back? Can you please come back? We really want you back. I mean, the way they've treated them, my home city of New York, I'm embarrassed to call it that. They cut out $1 billion from the NYPD. They cut all undercover law enforcement officers in the city. And guess what? In 90 days, crime went up by 300%. Does that surprise anybody? So they want to take your religion. They want to tax you to death. They want this all-out war on law enforcement. Joe Biden calls Antifa an idea. It's just an idea. As they're throwing bricks at cops, as they're burning churches, it's just an idea. They want socialized medicine. They're more concerned with banning plastic straws than they are fixing our educational system in this country. I mean, what's wrong with that whole thing? If I can tell you a quick little funny story. So we actually sell plastic straws on the campaign website. Just to trigger them. It's fun. Listen, everything that goes on the campaign website raises money for the big guy and for the campaign. And so somebody's like, why don't we sell these, like the McDonald's, like the long, like good plastic straws? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, they're the best. But they're red, they're like bright red, like MAGA red, and they have Trump stenciled on them. We sell 10 packs of plastic straws, and they're great. Like you literally can't keep them in stock. But what is it? We only do that to trigger the liberals, but like, what is it with them trying to ban plastic straws? They're more concerned about that than fixing the educational system in this country. They want to pack the courts, you see this, right? So they no longer want a 9-bench Supreme Court. They want 12 or 15 or 18 or 21 activist liberal judges. Guys, these guys are crazy. They want to take away your Second Amendment. You better believe that, and that's not happening. I'll take my guns. Guys, it's nuts. And then you look at my father. He wants the greatest economy this country has ever had by far, and he's created it. Lowest unemployment, lowest African American unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment, lowest female unemployment, lowest youth unemployment. He wants 401ks to go through the roof, guys. He wants America to be wealthy. He wants wages to go up. He wants this country to be prosperous. Sure, ask me a question. Interesting time to ask a question, but she is. Do you want to know the PC answer or do you want to know the real answer? Real answer? I met her at a bar in New York City, which was when we were like 24. That's a real answer. That's a real answer. I met her at a library and she was studying very, very hard and I fell in love with her at that moment. She had beautiful eyes and no, I actually met her out with some friends in New York. You don't know him, right? We don't know him. We don't know him. No, yeah, I met her at a bar in New York and I was 24 and Carolina girls are the best, right? Honestly, she's the greatest. And by the way, could you imagine another person coming into the Trump family and doing what she does? Should she run? Should she run for office one of these days? Maybe senator in North Carolina or Congress in North Carolina? I think she'd walk into that seat. Everybody universally loves Laura. Does that make sense? Not everybody loves me. Certainly not everybody loves Don, right? But everybody loves Laura. She's just like a likable person, if that makes sense. But guys, if you look at, and by the way, it's one of the reasons we love this state. You know, I spend every holiday down here. We spend Thanksgiving, we spend Christmas. We love this state. Wrightsville Beach. I'm out there. We fry a turkey every single Thanksgiving, every Christmas on Wrightsville Beach. I love it. It's like one of the greatest places in the world. But guys, if you look at what my father wants, very simple for this country, right? He wants the greatest economy. He wants the strongest military in the world, hands down, bar none. Honestly, I mean, if the Iraq War was one of the reasons that he actually got into politics, he could never believe that you could spend $11 trillion in some foreign desert, losing thousands of American lives. Doesn't make sense. He always said, listen, I want to have the greatest military in the world. Peace through strength. I never want to use it. But if we ever have to use it, I want to have the greatest weaponry and I want to have the greatest equipment. I want to go in there and I want to hit the enemy so damn hard that they never mess with the United States of America again. And you get out about 3 days later. Go in there, hit them, make a point, and get the hell out and leave. Right? And that's how you have to fight wars. And so he's sitting there, we're spending 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, losing thousands of lives when you could take the $11 trillion, aside from the loss of life, which is unacceptable. Think about the resources we spend. You could rebuild every school in North Carolina and every road in the country and every bridge. And instead, we waste in the desert overseas. He wants the greatest military, and you see that. The newest aircraft carriers and the F-35s are coming off the line every single day, and the new submarines. And does anybody like Space Force? Remember when the Democrats mocked him? The radical left mocked him. Why would we have Space Force? He goes, because that's the way of the future. We've got to have the greatest satellites and ultrasonic weapons and everything else, because we got to have the greatest military in the world. Believe me, other people are doing it. So we better be ahead of them, right? And they mocked him for it. Remember how he fixed the VA? How many veterans do we have here? We love you. We love you. Thank you for fighting for this country. We love you guys. Guys, the VA was a disaster. We lost 310,000 people under, unbelievable soldiers and veterans under Obama and Biden waiting to get into the VA. 310,000. They talk about COVID. Why don't they ever talk about the 310,000 veterans who died waiting in line to get into the VA? They never mention it. And so my father fixed it very quickly. He got in, he goes, you know what, it's very simple. If you don't like the VA, if they're doing a horrible job, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you a private option. Go to the doctor of your choice, send the government the bill, we'll pay. And guess what? Overnight, the VA was fixed. Why did it take a real estate developer to figure this out? Biden had been in office for 47 years. I'm 37. 10 years before I took my first breath on this planet. Seriously, guys, I've got a beard, I've got a wife, I've got 2 beautiful kids who are dressed up like pumpkins right now, literally as we speak. I gotta tell you a funny story about that. Why did it take a real estate developer to figure this out, to fix the VA? Why? Yeah, but beyond that, it's shouldn't a guy who's been in office for 47 years be able to fix something? Yeah, he has lined his pockets. So talking about my kids just for a second. I just tweeted out something that's pretty funny, right? So my kids are going trick-or-treating literally as we speak. And I tweeted out, I'm gonna steal 65% of my kids' candy when they get home. I'm gonna mirror the Biden tax plan, right? I'm gonna teach my children what it's like to live under socialism. So when they come home, I'm gonna take 65% of their candy, I'm gonna confiscate it, and I'm gonna eat it myself, and that's gonna mirror what effectively Biden wants to do to our nation, right? Steal 65% of everything you bring home. Oh, no, I didn't. By the way, I totally botched that on my dog. Yeah, you're right. I put the costume on my dog wrong this morning, and Laura made fun of me on Instagram. That was a very good pickup back there. I'm very impressed by that. But guys, we want the strongest economy in the world, and we want the greatest military in the world, and we've done that. And look what my father did with criminal justice reform. How about that? Why didn't Obama do criminal justice reform? Why didn't Obama do opportunity zones in impoverished cities? Why did my father have the lowest Latino unemployment in the history of this nation, lowest African American unemployment in the history of the nation? Why did it take my father to do that? Why did it take him to get literally millions of people off of welfare and off of food stamps in this country? That's a beautiful thing for our nation. Why did it take him to do that? Peace in the Middle East, 4 new peace deals in the last 4 weeks. Isn't that a beautiful thing that we have peace in the Middle East? I do remember John Kerry, he always said, you know, if you ever take the embassy and you ever move the embassy to Jerusalem, you're going to stir up a hornet's nest. Well, that's what my father said. He goes, this guy's an idiot, and he's never made a correct foreign policy decision ever, so guess what? We're just going to move the embassy to Jerusalem and do what Americans always said that they were going to do. And guess what? 2 years later, you've got 4 peace deals in 4 weeks, and everybody wants to sign on to it. And guys, these are countries that hated each other. They hated each other. I mean, you'd never had, I tell this story all the time, you'd never had a commercial plane take off in one country and land in the other. That's how bad the animosity was. Just, you know, different religions, disputed borders, different languages, hundreds of years. I mean, hundreds of years of fighting and animosity, and now you have planes flying back and forth. You had some of the inaugural flights in the last week or 2. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Peace in the Middle East. It's a great thing. And guys, school choice. Why did it take a real estate guy from New York to push school choice and charter schools and actually allow parents to choose the schools that their kids are going to go to? Why? And so much more. Look at the southern border. You know, 350 miles of wall, almost 400 miles of wall have been put up. 250 miles pre-construction, meaning graded foundations in, ready literally for the steel to go in. You have the lowest amounts of human trafficking, the lowest amounts of illegal immigration, the lowest amounts of drug flow over the southern border. Why couldn't they fix it? You had the Democrats out there, you all remember this, the radical left, no, just have a couple drones up in the air, that'll solve the problem. My father goes, guys, you're going to have the greatest high-definition images of human trafficking and drug trade in the history of the world. You're going to literally have pictures of people crossing over an invisible line. You're not going to do a single thing about it. No, drones don't work. You need walls. You need walls. Oh, there is a swamp. And that swamp is a lot deeper than you could have ever imagined. The swamp is a lot deeper than you could have ever imagined. That much I can tell you. The way the swamp has fought. We wake up in the morning, guys, we get punched in the face. We go to bed and we get punched in the face. The swamp is a lot deeper than you think. And the swamp is the media. And the swamp is politicians. And the swamp is unequal tiers of justice in this country. Is anybody watching this little thing on Hunter Biden? Could you imagine if that was me? So I was just on a little radio thing on the way here. And so, you know, before the age of 30, I raised $25 million for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, right? One of the greatest causes in the world. I had the lowest expense ratio of any charity in the country, and they came after me viciously for no reason, just because, you know, the Clinton Foundation was a total hoax. Everybody knows that, right? It's funding weddings and, you know, G5s to fly all over the world and all this other nonsense. We had the lowest expense ratio in the country, right? This foundation. We built the largest ICU and surgery center dedicated specifically for stage 4 kids anywhere in the world. And they attack me viciously, make up lies. Hunter Biden, they literally have an email. They have emails. He's going to save $10 million to be held by H, Hunter, for the big guy. And then they have an email to the sister like a day later. Unlike what dad makes me do, I'm not going to make you have to pay me 50% of your salary. And then they have another email from one of these shady guys in the deal. Please don't use Joe Biden's name in email. He's very paranoid. He'll only talk in person. Please don't use his email. Could you imagine if that was me? The point is, the swamp is deep. And then you find out that the FBI has had the computer for, 15 months? And they haven't done a single thing about it. How long do you think it would have taken them to do something? I mean, they tried to impeach my father the day after he gets in. They try and impeach my father the day after he gets in for a dossier that's paid for by Hillary Clinton. And yet they sit on Hunter Biden's laptop for 15 months, right? This is a real problem. How's the wine at the winery? Is it good? I gotta join this guy. Does that make sense? But by the time this thing's over, I'm gonna need a couple bottles of wine if that makes sense.